What is up, all my hope healers and hope dealers? Welcome to my YouTube channel, My PhD, My Prison History Diploma. My name is Kim. I did 10 years and 8 months in Florida Department of Corrections, and I've been out for over 15 years now. So I wanted to do this video because somebody in the comments said, what is the funniest thing that happened during your incarceration? So there's two stories that I have, but I'm gonna hit this one today. This is one of the funnier stories. Now, I will tell you that it wasn't funny when it happened, but looking back on it, I get to laugh about it because it's pretty funny. So with that being said, I'm gonna jump right into it. So as y'all know, if you've watched some of my videos, I smoked a lot of weed, I sold a lot of weed. I just always made sure that I had green. It was like my way of having that ultimate freedom, even though that I was physically incarcerated. I firmly believe that I learned how to have freedom of the mind because of my incarceration. And one of the things that helps me feel so very free in my mind was marijuana. And you know, it's a plant. It's a plant. So with that being said, because me and Lori were very known to have green weed, devil's lettuce, a lot of people tried to slide in to become our friends. And you know, that's fine. We smoked people out. Sometimes we gave away free joints to people. And that'll be a later date story. I have a really good one about that. But anyway, you know, I mean, it was just our way of passing love amongst our peers during our incarceration. So this one person in particular, it was in a Central Florida prison, and this one person came up to me and befriended me. And I have to say that it was one of those times where I felt kind of attracted to a girl. I mean, she looked not very feminine, not very manly, kind of like the in-between. I mean, she was a good-looking girl. A lot of people thought she was very attractive in a stud way, is what they call it in incarceration. I don't know what it's called in the free world, but the women that kind of had that male-dominant role were called studs in incarceration. So anyway, this girl, and I'll call her LF, she made her way into my life and as a friend. And, you know, I found that, you know, she would make, you know, comments like, dang girl, you sexy, you know, and I mean, you're talking like 7 years in, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty hot, you know, I mean, whatever. So I found her to be attractive, and we started smoking her out, and I mean, it was a good time, you know, she was cool, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna admit that we kissed, but it didn't go further than that. But anyway, so, you know, we were deemed as a couple during my incarceration for like 2 months, and I figured out it really wasn't who I was. It wasn't my lifestyle. And I mean, like, I find women to be very beautiful, don't get me wrong, but honestly, like, I'm more of a man girl. I like men. But you know, I gave it a shot, whatever. So anyway, so I told her, hey, you know, I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore. So we lived in the same dorm together. So I basically broke up with her, and in the morning on our way to work, you know, because you have to go to work during your incarceration. And she seemed like she took it well, and everything was fine, and we parted ways as friends. And later on that evening, I hit the rec field and I smoke out with some people, and you know, they call us to go back into the dorm, and I was feeling good, you know, I was pretty high, and I was happy, and I felt very free in the mind. And you have to, at this particular prison, and it was Central Florida, you had to get your laundry from, in each dorm, it was called a laundry room. And to get your laundry, you had to stand in line, and it was almost like a closet thing. You stand in line, and there's an inmate behind that door of the closet thing, and they pass out your size clothes. You don't get the same clothes back, and they pass out your uniform to you, your size, and you know, you got to put them in your arms and walk away. So, you know, I'm high, I'm feeling good, and I go to get my laundry because I'm about to go shower, and I stand in the line to get my laundry, and I'm standing there and I get my clothes and I turn around with my clothes like in my arms like this, and there was a tall girl behind me, and then behind that tall girl was LF, the girl that I broke up with. And I was holding my clothes and LF just came up to me, went boom, and knocked me dead in my mouth. Like literally, great shot, LF, great shot. God, I hope she finds this one day. It was a one punch, boom. And next thing I know, my tooth flew out, my front tooth right here flew out, it hit the ground, and I literally heard it, because everybody was shocked that this just happened, by the way. Like the dorm went silent, you know, because in the morning, me and this girl were girlfriend and girlfriend, and then in the evening, she's punching me dead in my mouth. And so it was very quiet, and I heard my tooth go doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo on the floor. And I said, you just knocked my tooth out. And yeah, there was a little bit of blood. I didn't feel any pain, to be honest with you. And LF, like, all she could do, she was shocked that she knocked my tooth out too. And all she could do was she stood up and she put her hand, or she was standing up, she put her hands behind her back and walked to the officer station, because she was just like, yeah, I know we're going to confinement. And instead of me going to the officer station, I was like, hell no, I'm getting on the phone, I'm calling my mom, I need to get a freaking tooth. So I called, and oh, by the way, I picked up my tooth off the ground. It was not shattered or anything. It was actually in perfectly good condition. She just punched me in the right spot where it came out from the root to the floor. So I picked up my tooth, and I go to the phones, and I call my mom immediately, and I'm like, Mom, my tooth just got knocked out. And my mom's like, what? She's like, I don't understand you. And I'm like, somebody just knocked out my tooth. So I'm like, you need to call up here and get them to take me to get my tooth put back in immediately. And so my mom's like, all right, I'm on it right now. So my mom calls and gets a hold of like the lieutenant or whatever, and they come in, and everybody already knew that me and Lika were going to solitary confinement. And so they come in, they grab me, they take me to outside medical to try to get my tooth put back in. But here's what I learned, and actually here's what the people learned when they transported me, because they had to stand there with me while the doctor told me, I can't put your tooth back in. If you would have soaked it in milk and then shoved it right back in, you would have had a better chance. So if anybody watching this ever gets their tooth knocked out, just take it and shove it back in. We didn't know that though. So basically I was told, you're SOL. You're gonna have your front tooth missing for the rest of your sentence. That did not settle well with me. I mean, I was not comfortable with that. So immediately when we get back to the prison from outside medical, they put me into solitary confinement. And when you're in solitary confinement, you get a little pen or whatever. So I wrote my mom, and I'm like, hey, they couldn't put my tooth back in, you know, call the warden, tell the warden, like, this was not by fault of me. You know, let's see if because it was considered cosmetic, just so y'all know. You do get dental and medical, but anything cosmetic, obviously you can't get. So my front tooth getting knocked out was actually deemed cosmetic, and it wasn't something they were going to fix. So I wrote my mom, and I'm like, no, like, we need to get this fixed. I am not going through the next 5 years with no front tooth. So my mom, who's relentless, and thank you, Mom, so much. She's amazing. My mom did call up there, and she did get a hold of the warden, and she got me to go into the dentist, and they made a plate thing with the one tooth. So the last 4 years of my sentence, 4 years and 8 months of my sentence, I had a flipper. And And I was perfectly fine with it. It was way better than not having a tooth. And as soon as I got out of my incarceration, I had enough money, thank goodness, to, my mom had a friend that was a dentist, and I went straight to him and got a screw-in. So this is actually a screw-in tooth. And I got a screw-in as soon as I got out. Now, I will tell you that they separated, me and this girl, they were like, you guys cannot be in the same prison together. So they separated us. And somehow, like, it was probably about a year or two later, somehow we ended up back in the same prison together. And I remember I was sitting, I had my flipper, so I had my teeth, I was fine. I wasn't mad at her anymore. You know, I mean, maybe my first like 120 days I was a little ticked off, but you know, this is the incarceration. This is what happens. You know, you almost come to expect you're gonna lose some sort of finger, arm, tooth. I don't know. You know, it's kind of like one of those places when you're in incarceration. You know, anything can happen. Anything can happen at any given moment. So, you know, I just couldn't hold on to the anger. So anyway, we ended up back in the same prison together. And LF actually, I was sitting on a bench outside, and LF actually came up to me and we talked and we got to laugh about it. And, you know, she basically said it in her best way that she could. I'm sorry. And I was like, dude, you know, it happens. It happens. You know, I can say for myself that I wasn't really great at managing my emotions either. You know, that's not something that we're taught in school. We're not taught how to manage our emotions. We're not taught how to deal with rejection. We're not taught how to be healthy with love. We're not taught how to deal with real life circumstances. You know, instead we're taught arithmetics. We're taught, you know, things that I don't even use today. I use more of the emotional and behavioral intelligence that I learned in my incarceration way more in the free world than what I learned in school. And that's the truth. That you know, I mean, it sounds crazy, y'all, and that's why I do call this my PhD. A lot of things that I learned in incarceration, like, you know, not to hold on to grudges. You know, there's certain things, you know, and like I've said it before in my videos, you know, there's certain things that I agree that, you know, you don't have to let people back into your life. But there is a sense of relief when I am able to forgive people. So during my incarceration, I can't tell you all how many times people hurt me, did me dirty, we got into fist fights, we got into arguments, you know, with various people. It happens in there. First of all, you're women, you know, it's a bunch of women. And second of all, you know, emotions, it's very difficult to maintain emotions in incarceration. Your freedom is gone. You can't hug your family. And, you know, fear and anger and hunger were probably the three strongest emotions in my incarceration. You know, so I dealt with my emotions the best way that I could. And LF, I knew for a fact that she dealt with the rejection, that it brought her embarrassment the best way that she could, you know, and I was able to forgive her and we were able to laugh. And it really, honestly, like, it was a tooth. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was more embarrassing to get my tooth knocked out in front of everybody. And then, you know, the incident, that hurt more, being embarrassed, you know, but that's pride and ego, right? So I was thinking about it, you know, out here in the free world, and I was thinking about how important it is to be able to forgive people. You know, I can tell you for myself, if you guys watch some of my videos back, I've had, you know, some things happen in my life where people, you know, back in the day, I wouldn't have forgiven them. You know, and I understand and I get it. Like, things happen and anger, you know, there's a piece of me before I learned how to forgive, there was a piece of me that holding on to anger felt good. It felt safe. But to be honest with you, holding on to anger, just like Nelson Mandela said, is just like drinking poison, hoping it kills the other person. And I firmly believe that is very true, because now that I don't hold on to anger, anger is toxic. Anger will eat you alive. But when you choose to forgive somebody, and listen, let me tell you, forgiveness does not mean, hey, come hang out with me. Forgiveness means it's okay. It's okay that you did that to me, and let's keep it moving. If you have to keep it moving, if you can forgive the person and let them back into your life, even better. Maybe you guys could learn something from each other, from that incident that you thought you couldn't forgive that person for. So, with that being said, I mean, you hear about forgiveness all the time. And, for me personally, when I was able to forgive LF, that opened up a whole new doorway for me to be able to forgive more than her in my life. And, the good news is that I can tell you from experience, when I have learned how to forgive people, and let me tell you, there are people that don't even know I forgave them. But when I have learned how to forgive people and I sincerely forgive them, and again, it doesn't mean that I have to hang out with them. They don't even have to know I forgave them. I become a better person. And that allows light and love to enter me even more. Because the more I hold on to anger, that's going to block me from love and light. And let me tell y'all something. There is nothing in this world, no person in this whole entire world that is worth blocking myself from love and light. And nobody in this world is worth me blocking giving love and light. So think about it. If you're holding on to anger right now, it could possibly, and not even possibly, I firmly believe that it is blocking you from your blessings. And let me tell you, I had a recent incident in somewhere else geographically where I didn't think I could forgive the person for what they did to me, And today, they don't have to know I forgive them, but I do. Not only do I forgive them, but I actually say a prayer for them. I say a prayer that they get love, light, peace, happiness, joy, money, everything that I want, I pray that they actually get. And at first I didn't mean it. And I didn't have to mean it at first. And at first I didn't have forgiveness for this person, because the wound was very deep. But as time progressed and I said the words, my heart started to follow. I hope that helps somebody today. When you put anger to the side and you let it out of your life, it lets in love and light. And if somebody hurts you, I want you to think about this. Through open wounds is where light can come in. So, people hurt people. It's a very true story. So when you forgive people, that actually means that you're letting yourself be open to so much more better. So with that being said, to all my hope healers and hope dealers, let's spread love and light. Let's spread forgiveness. Try it. Try to forgive somebody. If somebody did you wrong, maybe think about praying for them. Try praying for them for 21 days and see if that changes your dynamics. Try it. Nothing can hurt if you try it. They don't even have to know you're praying for them. Give it a shot. And hey, if it works out, that's amazing. And if it doesn't work out, drop a comment below and tell me that my video didn't work out for you. Other than that, my hope healers and hope dealers, have a super happy night. And I love you all. And thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. Thanks.